you want to get up, just say something first so I can blur my background, okay? So for the people able to hear for the people able to hear what I was just saying right now, you probably didn't, but just in case you had, my daughter is behind me. She made a fort because she sometimes she just likes to co-sleep. Well, any of my kids do, but just tonight it's her turn. So I ran into a dilemma with the time at which I need to stream while simultaneously keeping my routine with my children to either read them a story or play a video game with them or do something with them before they go to bed. And every once in a while we'll have this like a round robin system of co-sleeping, just because the love is there. And for those who don't know what a round robin system is, it just means a different. You rotate the child every night. So like maybe on Monday it's one of my sons, and on Tuesday it's some other son, and on Wednesday it's some other son, and on Thursday it might be my daughter who's behind me right now. But there it is. Right. So what I wanted to discuss today, as I'm getting better and better at going live. That's what the other 2 or 3 videos were for, or the other 2 or 3 live streams were for. They were about me, and you can tell from the titling, they didn't really have a focus. That was just me experimenting, sort of being comfortable. Hold on, I'm getting a report that my sound seems to be off. My sound is off? Is my mic on? Maybe I'm not projecting from the correct mic. 1 second. How is this? Testing, testing, testing. Is that better? Is the audio better now? Good, good. Okay, so I'm getting a report now that the audio is better. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. Okay, so I suppose I'll start over. Right, so we have a round robin system with the children. Maybe day 1, Monday, it'll be one child. Day 2, Tuesday, it'll be some other child. Day 3, day 4 might be my daughter, and so on and so forth. Right now, it's my daughter. So what I've done is I've compromised because the majority of my audience, even though generally only 3 to 6 people will view these videos at this time, I expect them to skyrocket throughout the future because just through the nature of the routine and consistency. The Norton's Mind blog has over 1,000 subscribers and increasing paying subscribers every day. It's just out of the 10 to 15 years that I've been blogging online, it's radically new that it's a new thing that I am regularly live streaming. But I digress. So the previous videos, the previous live streams that I've had, the past 2 or 3, were specifically titled after me getting used to the discomfort of going live because I'm a writer before I am a speaker. It may not seem like it at certain points, especially when I start to open up about certain things that I'm very passionate about. However, in general, I don't talk much. And this is a very disconcerting feeling to be online live streaming. But with that said, we're witnessing the gradual transition of me already coming prepared with a topic to talk about, and then just saying what I need to say, answering a few questions, having a crossfire of a free-flowing crossfire of discussion with whoever it is that may be watching the video, and then turning that into content later. Right? The ideal, we may not reach that ideal tonight, but you can already see the transition in how this live stream was already titled. So I came prepared with a topic, but I deliberately refrained from having a PowerPoint presentation because I want to try radical candor, radical authenticity, to where I may generally prepare the idea of what I want to talk about in my mind, and thus titled the video accordingly. But at the same time, I don't want to uh, have a bunch of slides ready to go. I want to just go off the cuff and just be authentic, right? So with that said, the focus of today will be, what if you have a child that doesn't want to build the life, that doesn't want to be a part of the life that you built for them? And this has not happened in my own personal life. It really hasn't. My oldest so far is only 9 years old, and so far they seem completely enthusiastic about everything that I've built pertaining to the sole proprietorships that will gradually transition to LLCs as they hit certain financial milestones, certain revenue milestones. But I understand that can change at any time, especially once they hit teenage years. So do I have a very rigid take on where I dictate where my children go in life? And the answer is a hard no. Hard no. So nothing is set in stone. And I thought you can probably tell I've thought about this at length, extremely deeply, and for a long time. I don't want to be mimicked. I don't want a replica of myself in any of my children. I just simply want them to be adequately bequeathed with that which I have to arm them with, my wisdom, my skills, the benefits, all the strengths of my DNA without any of the weaknesses, or at least as few of the weaknesses as possible. With that said, when I speak in other videos or mention, okay, this child might inherit this, that child might inherit that, for something pertaining to something I built for them, that is entirely relative to what I've been able to assess as their personalities and preferences as they come of age, which is in constant fluctuation, right? It will always totally acknowledge the natural ebb and flow of growth. I mean, gods know that I've absolutely changed and evolved as a character. The man that may stand before you today, the man that does stand before you today, is absolutely not the same as the young man who might have stood before you 20 years ago. As I'm 37 now, so I would have been 17 at the time. 20 years ago. It sounds crazy. If you've been following me for a long time, like that is, time flies. So with that said, no, my philosophy is this. True to what I've written in the article on my Substack pertaining to being a, let me see if I can get there we go, the mini screen to pop up. Okay, so true to, in this article on my Substack, on the Norton's Mind Substack specifically, true to what I wrote in the article titled "To Be a Father in a Family Business." And in the OmiFirm Substack, if I go to omifirm.substack.com and click on the article to start your business, first understand who you are, right? And a good company is a good person, and your company is a direct reflection of who you are. Your strengths and weaknesses manifest. In order to form a family business, you must know your family, what their strengths and weaknesses are, what their personality traits are, and how best to employ them throughout the process of developing your business, both at the startup phase and throughout different tiers of revenue milestones throughout each respective quarter, throughout the years, however long you may have that business for. So with that said, if you'll see another video that I published just last week, a couple days ago, about how I've laid the foundations of a family empire. In that video, I list about 5 different sole proprietorships that I either have created myself or have secured a percentage of ownership in. And if you'll notice, in that video I say, Okay, my son might inherit, one of my sons might inherit Wolfen Industries. My daughter might inherit Omi Firm, right? To understand my philosophy on that, on which child would inherit what, and how I don't actually want, while I've built a lot for them, I don't actually want my kids to lack freedom in their individuality. Um, you have but to ask me why the daughter in Omifrom and why the specific son in Wolfen Industries. The specific son that I'm thinking of, and the video is on this on the YouTube, which says I'm streaming to 3 different social media platforms at once. On my YouTube account, there's a video, a home video, of my 5-year-old son. Well, then in the video, my then 5-year-old son having built a functional remote controlled robot. Wolfen Industries is a science and engineering firm, physics and engineering firm. So out of the projects that he naturally likes to develop, out of the choices he just naturally has an inclination toward for play and what he likes to do, it seems as though Wolfen Industries would be the best for him if I was to build it to a certain point and then pass it down to him. Note that I have other sons, I have other children, and their personalities would not necessarily be a fit for Wolfen Industries, which means that if I wanted each of my children to be the CEOs or at least the head chairman of their respective companies, perhaps I need to create more sole proprietorships, specifically with their personalities in mind. If it comes down to that, I'll do that, right? Whatever it is, basically, I create and bequeath on the basis of their individual personalities. If they don't actually have an existential enjoyment for what the work would entail, stemming from their inner child, then I wouldn't force anything like that upon them at all. So I'm definitely not one of those fathers who would, if I was a blacksmith, my son must be a blacksmith, and if I was a carpenter, my son must be a carpenter. Right? There are a lot of old world stories like that where the father did one thing, or there was a family trade, a specific family trade, and you were locked in. If you were born into that, you didn't have the freedom. Your parents wouldn't fund your education to become something else because that would be viewed as leaving the family. I don't view it that way at all, especially if I was the head of a holding company for each respective LLC developed from the sole proprietorships experimentally in alignment with each of the children's respective personalities, then it doesn't matter what they do. We're still a family and we're still working together toward the same common goal. Just each business would be a manifestation of what their respective personalities would be and what they naturally want to do. So the only thing I request my children to do is don't be broke, basically. If you want to be a singer, be a singer. If you want to be a chef, be a chef. Right? I will never tell any of my children no when it comes to choosing an ethical career. And I will always support them no matter how many times they want to change throughout the process of their self-actualization. My only requirement as a father, and this is so universally applicable, regardless of the personality and preferences, is just simply have a plan, particularly a business plan with whatever it is that you'd like to do. That's it. That is all I ask. I would ask them to minor in some form of business. Let's say we take college, for example. That is if out of the children who would even go to college. I'm going to try to get all of my children to go to college for a degree that makes sense, that has actual market value, not like the gender studies degrees or anything useless like those, but actual degrees or trade certifications or both. All I would ask them to do is at least minor in some form of business. I don't care if they want to major in basket weaving, which you can actually do depending upon the college.
if they want to major in basket weaving, fine. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it, but fine. All I ask is that you follow that up with a minor in business development or marketing, so that if you want to create baskets for the rest of your life, you want to weave baskets for the rest of your life, fine. Build a basket weaving empire then, right? Build such a successful Etsy store that as a father, I don't have to worry about you following your passion into becoming the archetype of the starving artist. No, all I ask is, you can become anything you want. All I ask is that you do not become a starving version of that. That's it. Have a plan. That's all. And my role as a father is to empower them with whatever they need to go as far as they desire. In whatever ways that they choose, in correct alignment with who they truly are inside, their inner child. So if people, and no one's done this so far, at least not to my face, but if people project or they have the wrong assumptions pertaining to why I'm choosing which child for which position in which company that we're building as a unified family, this is critically important. I'm not forcing anything on anyone. I'm legitimately getting to know my children. Case in point, the fact of the matter being my daughter being right behind me. You can't see her, but the round robin system that I have with my children, it's like I genuinely take the time. And right before this, by the way, right before this live stream, we were playing Final Fantasy VII, right? And I was reading to them as though a storybook. So I spent a lot of personal time with my kids. I know each and every single last one of them deeply, and I'm watching them grow. I'm watching them as they are unable to watch themselves before they even develop the self-awareness necessary to understand both their light and dark sides of character. I'm seeing it long, and I'm identifying it long, and I'm making mental notes of it long before they do. So I know who they truly are, even as they develop the layers of their personalities as necessary to hide their inner child as a natural consequence of interacting with the harshness of the world. I remember I made it a point to remember each of their inner children, and to do what I can as a father to keep each of their inner children alive, but just simply guide it and empower it in a way that won't end up leading them to go homeless. So I don't actually, because I take this approach, I don't actually expect any of my children to say, "Oh, I don't want the life you built for me," because philosophically, the moment they, like, for example, what I can expect perhaps is the son that I designated for Woven Industries might tell me, "Hey, Dad, I don't necessarily, I don't know, like I liked physics and engineering when I was a kid, but I've kind of grown to like playing guitar now. I kind of like music. Music's really my calling, not so much physics." Roger that, right? That's what I would say to them. Roger that. Okay, well then, let's build you a marketing plan for whatever brand you want to create, or let me be your manager so I can help. Like, notice the key difference there. If he said in this hypothetical, "I don't want to do X, I want to do Y," it's not what he wants to do. It's not what any of my children want to do more than it is how that they are doing it. And am I doing everything as a father to empower them along that way? So because of that, because I take that philosophical approach to nurturing my children's self-actualization, it kind of my approach kind of renders it a technical impossibility for the child to say, "I don't want the life that you built for me," because they're really building their own lives. All I'm doing is just making sure that after a certain point of their maturation, that I'm there to support them in whatever ways I can. And that's it. So the reason why, in summation, I do not believe that they will ever tell me, "I don't want the life you built for me," or that I built for them, is because they are in fact building their own lives. They're making their own choices. So they would just simply say, the only thing that they would be able to rationally say is that they would like to shift the current track that they were on or have hitherto been on. And I'm here for it, regardless of whatever track that they want to get on, so long as it's ethical, within the bounds of the law, and they're not hurting people. Okay, any questions on that? Let's see. So far, none. Okay, any questions? People are watching. Okay, a few people are watching. Nurturing my children's I don't see self-act on Facebook. Right, and this is natural. Like, it's a little bit embarrassing at this early stage of going live. I know most people are, it's discouraging logging on and see. It's funny because I could show you my Facebook stats right now, actually, and even though let's see, few people watch me live stream. If I was to go to how do I navigate there? Insights. Tens of thousands of people see me, or they read my Facebook page every, like 80,000 views over the past 30 days, right? So thousands of people see my written content. It's live streaming that is the anomaly in my patterns of behavior, the new thing I'm doing and committing to. So, while at this current early stage in my live streaming content, it is, I'll admit, it's a bit disconcerting to see so few people actively watching me, while I see so many thousands of people reading my work in their own respective time. I take it with a grain of salt. I'm experienced enough to know that the audience will naturally grow, that which views my live streams. And we all have to start somewhere. You have to go through the ugly phase of audience interactivity, just like you go through the ugly phase of a hairstyle when you're trying to get to the actual hairstyle that you want, usually if it's long. Same concepts, right? So other than that, I don't see anyone leaving comments on this one. They left plenty of comments on the previous live streams. Maybe I need to shift time with times I log on. If I scroll down here, for instance, you can see like this one had 64 comments. This live stream had 64 comments. Another one had 102 comments. All right, so this one, I guess, is just a slow night. If there are no further comments, no questions, no disagreements, no pushback, no feedback, then I guess I can call it a night, and I'll turn this into content later. Other forms of content, like a textual form. Well, with that said, even if you're not watching this live, thank you for your time and attention for when you watch the clips of this video when it's not live. And if you are interested in more content, either for helping you to build your own business or the wisdom extracted from the experience of building my businesses, which is the difference between nortonsmind.com and omifirm.com, check the links in the description. And I hope you become a paid subscriber, because that will really help me go. That it matters. It means the world to me if you would be so kind and supportive as to pay for a monthly subscription or annual. There are other choices, and that enables me to continually produce, not only to continually produce content like this, but to continually reinvest in better and better iterations of this content over time. And thank you very much to the people who have become paid subscribers thus far. Even if you're not online watching me live, when you do finally see this video, I just wanted you to know that you are, each and every single last one of you are deeply appreciated. Thank you very much. Okay.